You know what's funny? We walk around this world absolutely confident about things that are completely wrong. I mean, we don't think they're wrong. We know they're right because someone told us, because everybody says it, because that's just how life works, right? Yeah, that's the problem. Hello, everybody. I'm Steve Harvey, and today I want to talk about something that messes with all of us. Myths. Not fairy tales, not monsters under the bed. I'm talking about those ideas we live by, the ones we never question, the ones that quietly run our decisions. And here's the scary part. Some of the things you believe the most are holding you back the hardest. I used to believe them too. Oh yeah, every single one. Let me tell you something. I didn't wake up successful. I didn't wake up confident. I didn't wake up knowing the truth. I woke up broke, confused, scared, believing a whole lot of nonsense. Like this one. Myth number one, if it's meant to be, it will happen. Woo, that one sounds good, don't it? If it's meant to be, God will make it happen. No effort, no risk, no rejection. Just sit back and wait. Let me tell you something real clear. If I had waited for meant to be, I'd still be sleeping in my car. Life does not reward waiting. Life rewards movement. Opportunities don't knock. They whisper. And if you ain't moving, you don't hear a thing. I believed that myth for years. I told myself, when God wants me to succeed, He'll open the door. Guess what? The door was there the whole time. I just never touched the handle. See, faith without action is just a nice story you tell yourself to feel better about being stuck. God gives you the seed. You gotta plant it. Another myth. Successful people are just lucky. Man, I love that one because it lets you off the hook. They're lucky. They were born into it. They had connections. Let me explain something. Luck is what lazy people call other people's discipline. You didn't see the nights. You didn't see the rejection. You didn't see the embarrassment. You saw the result and skipped the price. I've failed more times than most people have tried. Comedy clubs with 6 people in them, people booing, people walking out. I bombed so hard once the microphone felt heavy in my hand, but nobody calls that luck. They call it overnight success 10 years later. Here's another one. If you fail, it means it wasn't for you. No. Failure doesn't mean stop. Failure means adjust. If failure was a sign to quit, every successful person on earth would be unemployed. Failure is not a wall, it's a classroom. But only if you're humble enough to sit down and learn. Most people don't fear failure. They fear looking stupid. And that myth right there keeps dreams small and regrets huge. Now listen, I'm not here to insult you. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here because once you start questioning the myths, your whole life shifts. And we're just getting started. Because the next myth? Oh, that one hits real close to home. Let's talk about another one. This myth has stopped more dreams than fear ever could. I'm too old. Or I'm too young. Pick one. People use both. I should have started earlier. It's too late now. I missed my window. Let me ask you something. Who told you there was a window? Show me the rule book where life says you must succeed by 25 or pack it up. Colonel Sanders was in his 60s when KFC took off. Morgan Freeman didn't hit big until his 40s. I was damn near broke in my 30s with kids to feed and no safety net. Age is not the problem. Comfort is. People don't quit because of time. They quit because starting again hurts their pride. They don't want to look like beginners. But listen to me carefully. Every master was once a beginner who didn't quit. Another myth. I need to be perfect before I start. That one sounds responsible, smart, careful. It's also a lie. Perfection is procrastination wearing a tuxedo. You're not waiting to be ready. You're waiting to feel safe. But growth doesn't happen in safety. You don't learn confidence by thinking. You learn it by doing things while you're nervous. I didn't start comedy because I was perfect. I started because I was desperate. And desperation will push you where comfort never will. Here's the truth. You will never feel ready, ever. Ready is a myth invented by fear to keep you parked. Another big one. What people think of me matters. Ooh, that's a heavy chain right there. People live entire lives as prisoners to opinions that don't pay their bills. Let me tell you something harsh but freeing. People are not thinking about you as much as you think they are. They're busy worrying about themselves, and the ones who do judge you. They were never going to help you anyway. You don't get opinions from people living better than you. You get opinions from people afraid you might. When I changed my life, some people laughed. When I struggled, they felt comfortable. When I succeeded, they felt threatened. That's not your problem. That's confirmation you're moving forward. Here's another myth. Money changes people. No, money reveals people. If you were selfish before, money just turns up the volume. If you were generous before, money gives you reach. Money is not evil. Money is a tool. And avoiding money because you think it's bad is like refusing to use a hammer because someone once got hit with one. The real myth is thinking you're supposed to struggle forever. Struggle is a season, not a life sentence. But some people make it home and call it destiny. And this one hurts. Hard work alone guarantees success. I wish that were true, but effort without direction is exhaustion. You can climb a ladder all day and still be on the wrong wall. Hard work matters, but smart decisions matter more. You don't just need hustle, you need alignment. Who you are, what you do, why you do it. When those line up, that's when momentum shows up. And that brings me to the most dangerous myth of all. The one that keeps people stuck, even when they know better. Now listen to me. This next myth is the most dangerous one, because it sounds honest. It sounds mature. It sounds final. That's just who I am. Oof. I've heard that sentence destroy more potential than failure ever could. That's just who I am. I'm not good with money. I'm not confident. I'm not creative. I'm not disciplined. Let me tell you something. Who you are is not fixed. It's familiar. And people confuse familiarity with truth. You're not bad with money. You're untrained. You're not unconfident. You're inexperienced. You're not lazy. You're uninspired. But if you keep calling it identity, you'll never challenge it. Growth requires you to admit something uncomfortable. You are not done becoming. I wasn't always disciplined. I wasn't always focused. I wasn't always wise. I learned. And learning requires humility. Most people don't want to grow. They want to be right. Another myth. Comfort means I'm doing okay. No. Comfort means nothing is demanding more of you. Comfort is not peace. It's numbness. Everything you want lives outside what feels familiar. And the reason growth feels scary is because it requires a new version of you to show up. The old you can't go where you're trying to go. That's why fear appears. Fear is not a stop sign. It's a signal. It means you're near expansion. But we were taught the myth that says, if it scares you, don't do it. No. If it scares you, check if it matters. Then move carefully, but move anyway. Here's another lie people believe. If I change, I'll lose people. Yes, you will. And that's not tragedy. That's transition. Some people were assigned to a season of your life. not the whole story. Trying to stay the same to keep everyone comfortable will cost you your future. Growth requires loss, not of value, of alignment. Now let me confront you directly. Right now, the reason some of these myths still feel true to you is because they protect you. They protect you from rejection, from effort, from disappointment. Myths are comfortable excuses. Truth demands action, and action exposes you. That's why people cling to myths. But here's the real truth. You already know some of these beliefs are wrong. You feel it. That quiet frustration, that restlessness, that voice saying, "You were meant for more." That's not ego. That's awareness. And awareness is painful when ignored. So here's a better belief. You don't need permission to change your life. You don't need approval to outgrow old thinking. You don't need certainty to start moving. You just need honesty. And that brings us to the myths about success itself. Because what people think success is and what it actually costs are two very different things. Let's clear something up. Success does not cure insecurity. That's a myth. People think, when I make it, I'll finally feel confident. No. Success just puts a spotlight on whatever you haven't healed. If you needed validation before, you'll crave applause louder. If you doubted yourself before, you'll fear losing it all. That's why you see successful people still anxious, still restless, still searching. Here's another myth. Successful people don't doubt themselves. Oh, we doubt. We just move anyway. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It's the decision that fear doesn't get to vote. Every big move I ever made came with uncertainty. I didn't know if it would work. I knew I couldn't stay where I was. That's the difference. Another myth. Once you succeed, life gets easier. Life gets different. Not easier. Your problems upgrade. You trade survival problems for responsibility problems. And responsibility is heavy. You're responsible for decisions, for people, for impact. That's why not everybody who wants success can handle it. And that's okay. But don't lie to yourself about what you're avoiding. Here's a quiet myth. If I don't try, I can't fail. No. If you don't try, you fail by default. Regret is heavier than effort. Effort hurts short-term. Regret hurts long-term. Ask anybody in their later years what they regret. They don't say, "I tried and failed." They say, "I never tried." Now here's a myth people don't like hearing. Motivation will save me. Motivation is temporary. It's emotional caffeine. Discipline is what carries you when motivation disappears. If you only act when you feel like it, your life will stay small. Successful people build systems that don't depend on mood. And let me hit this one hard. I'll start when things calm down. Life doesn't calm down. You adapt. Waiting for the perfect moment is how dreams expire quietly. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a direction and the courage to adjust. Here's the truth about success. It requires sacrifice, time, comfort, sometimes relationships. But here's what nobody tells you. The sacrifice feels lighter than living unfulfilled. Now let me say this clearly. I am not telling you to chase money. I'm telling you to stop believing lies that keep you small. Because the biggest myth of all, that you're not capable, that you're not built for more, that you should settle, that myth is the loudest one. And it's the most dangerous. But we're not done yet. Because now we need to talk about responsibility. And this is where most people get uncomfortable. Now we're going to talk about the one people avoid the most. Because this myth feels justified. It's not my fault. Listen, sometimes things really aren't your fault. Where you were born, how you were raised, what you were exposed to. That part, not your fault, but what you do next, that part is on you. Blame feels good. It feels protective. Blame says, I'm not responsible for this pain. But blame also says, I'm powerless to change it. And that's the trade people don't notice. The moment you blame someone else, you hand them the keys to your future. I had reasons to quit. Plenty. No money, no support. People doubting me, doors closing. But I realized something. Excuses explain your situation. They do not change it. And here's a myth tied to blame. If it was really meant for me, it wouldn't be this hard. That's a lie. Anything worth building will resist you. Resistance is not rejection. It's preparation. Muscles grow by tearing. Character grows the same way. Another myth. I'll take responsibility once I feel confident. No. Confidence comes after responsibility. You don't wait to feel powerful to take control. You take control and power follows. Most people want reassurance before action. Life gives reassurance after movement. Now let me say something that might sting. If your life hasn't changed in the last few years, if you keep having the same problems, the same frustrations, the same complaints, there is only one common factor: you. That's not shame, that's freedom. Because if you're the problem, you're also the solution. Another myth: I need someone to save me. No one is coming. And that's not depressing. That's empowering. Because it means you don't need permission to start. You don't need validation to change direction. You don't need approval to become better. You need decision. And decision is scary. Because once you decide, you can't pretend you didn't know. That's why people stay stuck. Stuck is familiar. Stuck is predictable. Change requires courage every single day. But here's the turning point. The moment you stop blaming. The moment you stop waiting. The moment you stop believing the old myths. Something shifts. You don't feel fearless. You feel responsible. And responsibility is the beginning of power. But there's one final myth. The one people whisper to themselves late at night. And once that myth is gone, there's no going back. There's one last myth. It's quiet. It doesn't shout. It whispers. I still have time. And maybe you do. But let me tell you something nobody likes to admit. Time is not guaranteed. And motivation has an expiration date. People don't run out of time. They run out of urgency. They keep telling themselves, next year. After this season, when things slow down. And one day, they look up and realize their life is mostly memories of what they planned to do. Here's the truth. You don't change when you have time. You change when the pain of staying the same becomes louder than the fear of change. That's when growth begins. Not when it's convenient. Not when it's easy. When it's necessary. Another myth connected to time. I need to figure everything out first. No, you don't. Clarity comes from movement, not from thinking. You don't steer a parked car. You start. You adjust. You learn. And slowly, the fog lifts. Let me say this carefully. You are not behind, but you are responsible for what happens next. Your past does not disqualify you. Your excuses do. And every myth we talked about today has one thing in common. They all remove responsibility. They all sound comforting. They all sound reasonable. And they all keep you stuck. The truth is harder, but the truth sets you free. You are capable of change. You are allowed to grow. You are not required to stay who you used to be. And listen closely. The moment you stop believing the myth, the moment you stop repeating the excuse, the moment you stop waiting for permission, that's the moment your life starts responding differently. Not magically, not instantly, but honestly. So here's the real question. What belief are you finally willing to let go of? Because the world does not change for people who wait. It changes for people who decide. And that decision, it starts right now.